Komolafe critical thinking, unburdening the burden. Burden has been described to be in either of these: problem, challenge, trouble, predicament, discomfort, anxiety, failure, unfulfilled ambition, unmet needs, insatiation, loss of value, etc. Experience of burden is never a good pill to swallow. It can demoralize, makes one to lose joy, focus, and directions. Burden in itself means confusion, chaos, and shame. But the question remains, shall we continue to bear it? Or is it possible to bear it alone or actually transferable? Who's a burden bearer? And for how long can burden be accommodated before the explosion of the balloon of patience? Let's dissect this thought off our lane, so it won't be a burden to us as critical thinkers too. In other words, we just must unburden the burden. 1. The why for unburdening. Unburdening is necessary because no mind, system, institution, leader, or organization can function optimally and indefinitely under unnecessary weight for too long. Burden is a cancer worm that affects clarity, speed, judgment, emotions, foresight, vision, relationships, productivity, and long-term sustainability. The purpose of unburdening is not merely to feel lighter. The true purpose is to restore precision, balance, probity, excellence, and strategic focus. A burdened mind may still move, but it will not move accurately, and it can definitely not move far and fast. Burden is a weight that limits speed and height. This is why great thinkers constantly evaluate. So why does unburdening matter? A. To preserve mental sharpness. Heavy, unresolved thoughts weaken decision quality. A sharp mind requires mental space. B. To avoid accumulated errors. Overburdened people rush decisions, overlook details, and mismanage priorities. Burden eventually converts into mistakes. Most mistakes committed are evidence of burden presence. In fact, no burdened mind is a precise thinker, whereas your thinking is the foundation of your actions. C. To sustain leadership capacity. Leaders who carry everything eventually become bottlenecks. Unburdening creates continuity and scalability. D. To separate necessity from attachment. Some people keep burdens because they are emotionally attached to suffering. Control and individual irrelevance. Critical thinkers are able to distinguish importance from emotional bondage and will sieve away the irrelevance. E. To create room for higher thinking. A mind overcrowded with survival struggles rarely enters strategic thinking. Unburdening creates space for innovation and foresight. 2. The wrong way of unburdening. Many people attempt to unburden themselves wrongly. Instead of solving burdens intelligently, they transfer confusion, avoid responsibility, or create greater damage. In other words, they end up multiplying burden. Wrong unburdening often produces temporary relief but long-term consequences. Forms of wrong unburdening. A. Escaping instead of solving. Some people disappear from responsibilities rather than confronting problems intelligently. Avoidance is not unburdening. It is rather a postponed collapse. B. Dumping burdens on innocent people. Some relieve themselves emotionally by frustrating others through anger, blame, manipulation, emotional transfer, toxic leadership, transferred aggression, or irresponsible delegation. This does not remove burdens, it only relocates them. See, removing necessary pressure. Not every burden is bad. Some pressures build discipline, create maturity, sharpen competence, and develop resilience. Wrong unburdening removes productive tension. D. Emotional decision unburdening. Some people make permanent decisions based on temporary emotional exhaustion. Examples: quitting too early, destroying relationships, abandoning vision, shutting down systems impulsively. Exhaustion should not become a decision maker. E. Seeking comfort instead of clarity. Comfort-driven unburdening weakens growth. Wise thinkers ask, will this make me better or merely more comfortable? Komolafe critical thinking insight. Some people do not unburden wisely. They simply redistribute disorder. Do the wise way of unburdening. Wise unburdening is intelligent burden management. It is the art of reducing unnecessary weight while preserving responsibility, purpose, structure, and progress. Wise unburdening requires deep evaluation, emotional control, timing, clarity, and strategic thinking. Dimensions of wise unburdening. A. Identify the true source of the burden. Wise thinkers investigate before reacting. Sometimes the burden is not the work, the responsibility, or the people. Sometimes the real burden is poor structure, unclear priorities, fear, ego, lack of systems, or delayed decisions. Correct diagnosis produces correct unburdening. B. Delegate with intelligence. Delegation is not abandonment. Wise delegation involves assigning rightly and timely, empowering properly, monitoring effectively, and maintaining accountability. A critical thinker knows everything should not pass through one mind. C. Remove what no longer serves purpose. Some burdens are expired responsibilities. Get rid of them. Wise thinkers regularly review habits, systems, relationships, commitments, and operational structures. Anything consuming strength without strategic value must be questioned and unbundled. D. Simplify complexity. Many burdens survive because people complicate what should be structured simply. E. Build capacity where necessary. Not every burden should be removed. Some should be grown into. Wise unburdening sometimes means increasing competence, increasing discipline, increasing emotional intelligence, and increasing strategic capacity. F. Think critically and analytically before pressure accumulates. The sharpest thinkers unburden early. They do not wait until collapse before restructuring. Preventive thinking is superior to emergency thinking. Final Komolafe critical thinking thoughts. Wise unburdening is not the removal of responsibility. It is the intelligent redesign of responsibility. A sharp thinker does not merely carry burdens well. He understands which burdens deserve to exist. The mind becomes dangerous when it learns how to remove unnecessary weight without removing necessary purpose. The greatest unburdening is accurate thinking. Finally, Komolafe critical. Thinking posits that fast and sharp thinkers are able to make decisions 10 years ahead with accurate results. B1. Facilitator. Prof. Komolafe Taiwo.